SGC here, and we're back for Wednesday Comics time. Let's get it on. First up, Low number 6. This issue is finally talking about something that's more exciting. Because the last few issues, they've been caught, and there's a lot of just talking, and now we finally get action. Action as in, actually, I lied. Last issue there was a bit of action, but now it's like finally we get things that are actually intense, as in, you know, who's gonna die, who's gonna survive, what's gonna happen, and I didn't really expect this to happen. It was kind of sad, as in like, oh, this is where the story is gonna go now, and I think it picked it up. I was like, oh, I will continue to read. I felt Low was sort of like, the artistic style wasn't there for me. It often hit or miss, but this time around it's like, action was just great. And just where it's going is, I cannot wait to see, because now it's like they're finally leaving this dreadful place, and just anger and just splitting up, and it's just fun. Like, it was a lot of destruction, and it was a lot of payoff, and it's just like a lot of character exploration and just growth, and it's like, where are they gonna go? So I can't wait for the next issue. Up next, Dave number 1. Finally, it's out. I mean, it's been online for a while, and I finally got the physical copy, as in finally the physical copy came out. And definitely a fun read. It's just about a future where robots are pretty much us now. So it's an interesting concept. I don't know if it will bring anything super new to the table, because the problems they're going to interact with is just human problems, but just now it's just robots filling them, because they now feel like what it's like to be us. And obviously Dave is a decorated soldier, general sort of guy, and he's just bored. And it reminds me of the own comic that I've been co-writing, and it's interesting. But basically the art's awesome. I mean, the whole world of just robots is intense. Like, all this like little stuff, cereal, newspaper, just interesting. And it's just like, where is it going to go, in the sense where it's going to bring new things to the table, as in something crazy is happening. And generally, I like the art, and the story is kind of like, he doesn't know what's happening, and obviously the cliffhanger is pretty amazing, and just, it deals with the life of a robot, where we used to think it was awesome and stuff, but really, they brought it down to a level where it's like, actually, no. After the human extinction, robots are gonna just replace us, because life itself is boring, or just not fulfilling once you do the thing that you really wanted to do, or have that real crazy high. And it explores interesting issues from a robot perspective. And yeah. Men of Wrath number 5. This is the last issue. Goes out with a bang. Crazy action stuff happening, and it's just, I guess it's too bad that it ended. I love the art, love the story. It's just, it ended, and then it's just Mr. Wrath here is just figuring out what he should do to save his life, or just really, not really save his life. It's more like dealing with the people that are going to kill him. And the action is really great. I really love the fluidness of the action, and the brutality of it all. And it was just fun to read, and it's just interesting to see where it went. It's the whole legacy of the Wraths, and now it's over. It was a good ride. It was a fun ride, chasing Aaron. Totally will look out for Ron Garney's art in the future, and Aaron's awesome as always. And yeah, so that's it for Men of Wrath 5. I think it is a mini-series. It was an interesting run, in the sense where it dealt with the whole wrath of the family, and it was an interesting concept, and it was a fun read, for sure. Though, like I said before, I did mistake this, or not mistake, but mix up the characters for Southern Bastards, also written by Aaron. But, I mean, Men of Wrath was fun. It was brutal, but fun. Darth Vader number 2. Awesome stuff. A lot of sort of conspiracy stuff. Space battles. Just shows off Vader's brutality and how he works, how he thinks, and just how the people in the Empire think of him, as in, he's just a dude with the Force, no old religion, what an idiot. And they obviously underestimate him, and he's just great. And I really enjoy this, because it was just, like I said in the first issue, it's stuff that we don't know but heard of, and it's just an expansion of the universe and Darth Vader's character. So it's much more enjoyable than Star Wars, really. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying that. And just his badassness was just great throughout this issue. And sort of, I don't know if it's retconning when we never seen these in episode 4, 5, 6, but in 1, 2, 3. So I think that's the biggest issue with these comics, is that they're going to add stuff that we never seen in the original film series, but they're going to add because they existed in the first series. And really awesome stuff. Enjoyed it. Love the posing and just love his just thinking and just him being just Darth Vader, don't underestimate me. Next up, Effigy number 2. More story building, character building, and it's just a fun issue of conspiracies and what's really happening with his dead body here. Get to learn more about the characters, where they come from, like hidden past, and just like they are pretty dangerous. And some gore, you know, typical dead people folk. Art is consistent, though it feels staticky at times, where it just didn't feel like they're really moving, and I am literally reading pictures. And there's also new characters added this issue, so that's interesting. And just like I said, the conspiracy, like what is really happening, as in who is behind all this, and what is really gonna go down, and is it a lot bigger than we thought? Well, yeah, I mean, with the whole branded tattoo and the whole connection to the TV series, it's just pretty intense. Anyway, that is pretty much for Effigy. Next up, Gotham by Midnight number 4. We have a new arc now. We have this whole Spectre Reborn thing. We got a new case, and it's pretty intense with the whole plant blowing up thing. Temple Smith is awesome with the lighting and everything with this. It's just, I love the vibe for this comic, and now we get to know more of the team, and it's just like, the threats are huge. Like, they literally could die, but obviously they won't kill them off because they have a limited cast. But it's interesting to see how they're going to get out of it. And Spectre returns, and it's just interesting to know that there's a bigger conspiracy. All these things are adding up, and where they're going to go, and how are the normal humans going to help out. And we have some interesting fights. We have a kaiju-esque fight of Spectre and this plant thing. And it's interesting for sure just to see how everyone else around him reacts, as in, gosh, this is getting really serious. Daredevil 13, really enjoyed this. A lot of characterization with Kristen, just her being in Danger's way, and the relationship that they're in, and how is it really going to affect them in their daily lives. And then just awesome art as usual, just a lot of like craziness behind as to who's really looking at Daredevil. And it's just like this craziness, and it was fun. A lot of action. But I really enjoyed the whole murderer going after Kristen, and it's like, I don't really care about Daredevil. You're not here for me. Or actually, I'm not here for you, but rather I'm here for the woman. And I gotta take care of him. And it's interesting to just see Daredevil taking over, and he can't really do anything. And Max slowly shows up, and just Kristen just being happy that she has a killer that wants to kill her. And obviously we have the last page where it's like, oh, what's gonna happen here? Huh. Next up, Secret Avengers 13. Finally, showdown with this dude. What's his name? MODOK's assistant. It's just, I don't know. Snapper. Yeah, I'm really bad with names. But basically, we have awesome art from Michael Walsh, as usual. Just fun stuff. And we got Spider-Woman being captured, a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking here. Snapper just being really weird, and I don't really know what's happening. I need to reread his sort of plan. But I think he's trying to capture MODOK, but now MODOK wants to kill him. And then all of a sudden there's Deadpool. I don't know. I don't know if he showed up last issue. I'm not entirely sure. But tons of action! A lot of action, so it's fun. And Snapper obviously has a plan with this T syringe thing, and it's like, oh man, what's gonna happen now? And it looks pretty intense. And is there a plan? Like, we really need a plan to fight off trusting MODOK. Like, we have to trust him. Next up, 246. It's intense. Just to see what happened last, and now to see how people are coping. And it's just like, oh, Poyo, what's happening? I don't know. It's just like this management stuff is happening. Nothing's really happening. It's interesting that Tony's back, but nothing really is happening now because they're really trying to hunt down the vampire guy, and now they're going off cases, and it's just interesting too that they're going back to this whole FDA figuring out what do you do, put you back in jail, and obviously there's the repercussion of the fight. That's a lot of story being silently told, and just Tony and his partner and John. I mean his partner John. See, bad with names, but really like what's gonna happen with the relationship? As in, are they gonna come back? Are they really gonna work together to hunt the vampire, or what have you? And it's just sad that Pollo's no longer with us. Amazing Spider-Man number 15, epilogue for Spider-Verse. It's over. So now we have a lot of cooldown from all the static action that we had through the Spider-Verse event. So now we have a cooldown for all the static action that we have during the Spider-Verse event. Everyone's going home. Superior Spider-Man's being an ass, as usual. What a surprise. And it's interesting to see where they're going to go, and just, are they going to have new series about them? I mean, we have Silk and Spider-Gwen, but how about Punk or Bryn or what have you? But it was interesting to see that they're still fighting amongst each other, and there's somewhat characterization of how bad Superior Spider-Man is compared to everybody else. And also we have an interesting of the whole web guy thing, and he's dying, he's taking over, saving the world, and this, I bet a lot of repercussions are going to happen from this, as in like, they did this, and the Spider-Verse is never going to be the same, because, you know, lots of amazing friends. When are we going to see it from them again? But, yeah, we're going to start anew, and it's going to be like, finally, it is over. Spider-Man will be finally Spider-Man. Without all these big things happening, and he can, you know, kick ass and solve things, or, I don't know. Spider-Gwen, number 1. Yeah, I really don't know what Spider-Man does normally now, because it's been so far. I mean, we had the crazy Superior Spider arc. Let me pause on this. Superior arc, and then we had the whole Spider-Verse arc, and now, what's gonna happen next? Curious. Anyway, Spider-Gwen, number 1. Awesome stuff. Rodriguez art is fun stuff. Fluid action, colors are great, and wow. We start off with Falcon, and it's just, what's going to happen? It was a great issue. I know what happened because I read it. Also, I really enjoyed the whole drama with the whole band thing and the father, and I just really love the art. It sort of reminds me of Trad Moore, but not really. I think the coloring is different, but the art style is somewhat similar. Big faces. The women drawn are different, and I love Spider-Gwen. Really enjoying it. Drama is nice, like I said. And then Spider outfit, amazing. And the whole story is just like figuring out what she's trying to do with her life. Figuring out if her dad's going to figure it out, or if her dad's going to do anything. And obviously we got to fight some villains, because, you know, that's what you do as a Spider-Woman. But yeah, awesome stuff. Can't wait for next issue. And last, Theyre Not Like Us, number 3. Love it! I mean, I really appreciate how the fact the cover is part of the first panel. And this has been an interesting issue as she's trying to learn her powers, figuring out the group's dynamics. And it's an interesting sort of white background, and it's just a lot of action where growth is happening. And getting to know the group is interesting as well, and just figuring out, like, what's happening with her parents and the outside world, and then obviously going back into their world. And then also, it's just, the extent of her powers is pretty intense, and it's just like, everyone else is so nonchalant about it, and it's just like, whoa, these guys must be super powerful or crazy. And definitely, the biggest thing was the whole figuring out what they could do, and it's just like how they see the world, and this was very dramatic. And it's just like, man, that's intense. With their powers, they can really do some damage on anybody. And they're just not ones to, you know, be messed with. And obviously, now we're going to go back on her backstory and check out where she's from and how she got to be what she is. So there you have it. That's it for this week's comics. Hope you enjoyed something. Leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that's it for this week's Wednesday Comics Time. Out.